This is number 8 for lab and homework 2 on page bottom of page 116, goes over page 117 and top of page 118. So what I have done here is make sure you put your proper header for that. I have my basic skeleton that we talked about. Pound include, make sure you have your name and your course number in here. I'm just going to walk you through this first part right here. Is the part that we will talk about. Is it starts you out with is the basic skeleton in here, and part 1 says write a C++ statement that includes the header file of the IO stream and the string. So in this part right here is part of your skeleton. You can come in and put comment in that this is part A, and when you're dealing with what's called string data type, you will in C++, it requires you to actually use the library file called string. So make sure you include the string. So this is our second library file that you need anytime we deal with a particular string, that when we actually manipulate string position or the length of a string, you need to have pound include string. So this is the first part you can actually include. Part B, bottom of page 116, says write a C++ statement that allows you to use a cin, cout, and nline without using the prefix. This line right here, right, this is the line that I have right here. This will allow you to use, this is part B, this is the 8B part, using namespace std semicolon will allow you to use 3 types of built-in statement, allow you to use cin, cout, and nl without using the previous what's called the prefix std standard : in this right now. So that's basically the AB. And for part C, top of page 117, says write a C++ statement that declare and initialize the following name constant. Now if you recall when you're reading, anytime when you want to declare a variable, or in this what's called the identifiers. What are identifiers? Identifiers are your what makes up of your 3 identifiers are what's called your functions, constants, and variables. Okay, so identifiers in this case, when we have a constants in this case, so in this constant we start out with a constant called const int, and this is the data type. Const is a reserved word, int is the data type. In this case we want to initialize, it's called secret. Now you have to uppercase the identifier called secret to equal to 11 semicolon, and the second identifier is a double data type that states in there, and we want to give that a rate equal to 12.50. Now this is the identifier that tells you the right side. You got to do this on the right side equals the left side. Okay, in programming, the right side equals the left side. So you have these 2 identifiers that you have put in with it, and just want to let you know the scope, which I haven't talked to you yet. This is outside of the main function. So later on, anybody could access this thing. All right. So that's part you can actually go into this right now, and just let's comment out part. This is part C of number 8. All right. Now, coming down part D, write a C++ statement that declares the following variable: num1, num2, and new num type of int, which is the data type with this. So I would like for you to come inside your int main. This is inside your int main right here. Put some spaces in here. All right. So int num1, num2, and new num. Okay, exactly the way how I have it. Now you realize I can also do this, later on if you are comfortable doing this, but in my previous notes I might have had you done things such as int num1, comma, or semicolon, int. This will work too as well, num2, semicolon, or int new num. Okay, so things like this will work, alright? Or you separate by a comment on this thing. So just for simplicity, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, and I'm going to comment this out. This is what part is this? This is part D with this. Not totally done yet. Inside of this part D, it also asks you to put a string data type of calling it of name. So we start out because we want to do string string name. And this is because, remember now, string is a data type. It requires you to have a preprocessor file up here. This is where you need to actually put your string data type, and tells you the variable name is name in this case. The next data type that asks you to actually create is called a double. Double data type is hours. This allows you to, again, and wages with it. Now these are the two identifiers that we're going to be dealing with that we have to actually declare before we use it. Again, double is an 8-bit, very high precision type of data type that you would actually use with this thing. So three types of these three lines right here. Data type of an int, 3 variables separated by comma, and all ending with a semicolon. Data type of a string. If I use a string, I gotta use the library file called pound include string up here. If I use a double, that's built into my compiler. Data type of this double is larger than an int. Right, so just want to let you know that this has a better, higher precision in this thing. You don't want to use this as an int because that will drop off the decimal part of your wages and your hours worked, and your employer will be very, very happy, but you as an employee will not be happy because you will not get the same pay rate with it. All right, so that's that with that. All right, so that's part D for this. Now I want to move on to write the C++ statement that prompts, this is part E, write a C++ statement that prompts the user to input 2 integer and stores the first number in num1 and stores the second number in num2. So I'm going to comment out that section, part E, in this. So in here, again, I need to prompt the user. When I prompt the user, I need to get things on the screen. So cout, extractor, extractor, enter. 2 integer separated by a space, semicolon, and I need to read that in. In order for me to read that in, I need to do a cin, and I do a greater than sign, num1 with it, and num2. Okay. Now again, I have to put like the other one I had is cout and line. This just makes the user aware that I'm reading this thing in. In the same part that I have, I need to actually come in, and I'm running out of time here. So I'm 8 minutes in here. So let me just pause this for a moment. Pause this. Or